In today's video, I am going to show you how to use Google Bard in order to spot altcoin pumps early. This is using two major indicators in crypto, a change in open interest and a change in volume. And we can actually use the power of Google Bard in order to condense this data and feed it to us in a way that can help us make investing decisions to find altcoin pumps. It's going to be a massive show, and if you're excited, smash the like button and of course subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, so I can help you harness the power of AI to become a more profitable crypto investor. The first thing I want to discuss is how to monitor open interest. I don't even need to tell you what open interest is in crypto or what it indicates, because you can simply ask Google Bard, what does a change in open interest indicate? And it's going to tell you. By the way, every single prompt that I'm using in today's video, I have researched and spent hours on finding the exact prompts. We know Bard and ChatGPT can be a little bit temperamental. That's why I've spent hours collecting, collating, and working out the right prompts for you. So all of the prompts are going to be in the description below. You can try your own prompts and you can try to ask it your own questions, but these are the ones that I found work the best. So when I asked it, what does a change in open interest indicate? It says it indicates A, new money entering the market. If open interest increases, it means that more traders are opening positions in the market. This can be a sign of bullish sentiment, as it suggests that investors are expecting prices to rise. One really good way before you even open any trades in crypto is monitoring open interest to determine which coins are gaining momentum. Oftentimes, before coins even significantly move in price, their open interest will move more, because that basically quantifies the total amount of open positions in a market. So if you see open interest moving, that can be an indicator that you need to look into a certain altcoin. Now, there is a website called Coinalyze, which you can actually go onto and sort by open interest change in the last 24 hours, which is really helpful. But this doesn't tell us specifics about the data. It's simply just a list. We might want to reorder this based on other variables, and we might want the actual CSV or the Excel file of this data so we can use it to make our own spreadsheets and our own investment models. And the only way to do that is through Google Bard. So you can actually take this data and do a whole lot more with it in order to catch altcoin pumps. So let's reset and start a new chat now. Every time you ask it a question, you want to start a new chat. For the purposes of this video, make sure you follow along if you're doing this on your own time by actually following along with the order of the questions that I ask it, because it's in a very specific order. So the first thing you want to do is go onto the Binance website. It's a website called Binance Futures Funding History Perpetual Trading Data. The link, of course, is going to be in the description for this. And this is basically a measure of all the open interest on Binance across a variety of altcoin USDT pairs. We're using Binance because it's the biggest exchange. You can use other exchanges, but obviously the exchanges with more liquidity and more volume tend to work better for this. This is going to show you the top trader long short ratio, which is basically the amount that traders are going long versus short. But where we're going to start is actually looking at the open interest for a specific coin. So all you need to do is copy in this link and enter it into Bard, create a new line, and then ask it, go make a table for open interest, long short ratio, and funding rate, and add all the data from the above website. Make sure you actually give it the link, because if you don't, it often has a tendency to make up data. These language models are very temperamental, so make sure you're actually giving it the data, or it'll often just spit out a number that's completely wrong. Like if you ask it for open interest on Binance, the numbers will just be wrong. But if you actually have the link, then it can get you the correct data. So we can see here, it has just given us a table for the open interest of some of the major coins in order of current open interest. Obviously, Bitcoin being the first one, Ethereum being the next one, Bitcoin Cash, and then XRP. And it's also giving us the long short ratio as well. What I want to ask it next is, now that we have the data, I want to follow up with a prompt that asks it to find the percentage change, because this is really the powerful data when we're trading, finding the altcoins that are jumping in open interest, because that can give us a signal to look into a specific altcoin. For an example, if you see an altcoin pumping in change in open interest, then that could be a signal for you to put that altcoin on your watch list for the next Bitcoin or Ethereum pump to the upside as a potential long trading target. Crypto is all about identifying strength and weakness when you're trading, and tools like this can help us do that and and can help us become better traders. Instead of just looking through, an old outdated trading watch list on TradingView and hoping you find relative strength, why not just get the actual data straight from the source using a website like Binance and using 𝗏𝗏 to do it for you and create a table for you. So I'm entering this prompt. I have done this prompt after this initial prompt for a reason. What tends to happen is if you prompt afterwards, it tends to be more accurate than just coming straight out with a prompt. I don't know why, but I did a lot of playing around in my own time and I found that this order was the best. So essentially what it's given us now is a table of the coins with the highest change in open interest as of the date that I'm recording this, which is obviously, going to be a day or so before you watch. So this tutorial is more of a framework that can be applied at any time. So don't trade off this data, obviously. Get your own data, maybe even watch this video and get 𝗏𝗏 up next to you and look at the data of the time of recording and do this in your own time whenever you are trying to find specific altcoins that are showing relative strength versus the rest of the market. Or an increase in open interest could also indicate an increased shorting ratio. So that's where the long short ratio is actually going to kick in. I'll show you how to analyze that in a minute, but hold your horses. Let's just finish with this first line of thought first. So here is the table of the coins with the highest change. We see 𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧, 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝗕𝗏 are an example. What I want to ask now is what time frame it's using for this percentage change, because I want to work out the exact time frame that it's monitoring. If it's giving me 30 minutes or 1 hour, that might not suffice. I might want a slightly larger window, which is, for example, the 24-hour period that it says it's using. Now I want to find out on a smaller time frame, what is the coins with the highest change in open interest on the 1 hour time frame. And I also want a table for that, because let's say I'm not trading on a daily time frame. So on the daily, you might see this and you might want to look into waves and some of these other coins here, 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, chart them and see what their strength is like versus Bitcoin. However, if I want to trade on a shorter time frame and I want to pick altcoin longs in a short period, let's say you're a day trader, this is going to be very helpful, being able to find altcoins with an open interest change within the last hour. So we can see over the last hour, REN/USDT, FLM, STG, Stargate, Dusk, and Waves are some of the biggest increases. Obviously, when you're watching this, there'll be different coins, of course, but maybe you want to take these coins and chart these coins and use this as a starting point for the guys that want to trade on a more shorter term time frame. That can make a lot of sense. So basically, I've just given you a way to get the percentages in order for an open interest change on the daily, an open interest change on the 1 hourly for the shorter time frames, as well as a total list of the total open interest. Pretty cool. Something websites like Coinalyze won't allow you to do, because this is only 24 hours. The fact that we've been able to refine it into the hour by using Binance's actual dashboard here on 𝗏𝗏 is pretty damn cool. But it gets even cooler. For those that like making models, you can actually export this to sheets. If you click on this button, it will actually create a spreadsheet for you using this data. So if I click open sheets here, it's going to bring up a sheet that it's created using this data. So if you want to now create graphs, models to track the change in open interest percentage over time for specific altcoins, let's say Waves is your favorite altcoin to trade, and every single day you do this at 9 o'clock to get the open interest change for the day, you can start populating automatically your own models here on Excel for the change in open interest. And of course, 𝗏𝗏 will do this for basically any data you give it. But what's really cool about 𝗏𝗏 versus ChatGPT is the fact you can get these tables. I find that really, really cool. Now, of course, if you are getting data, just double check it. Go onto the Binance site and make sure the data is accurate, because sometimes it will spit out inaccurate data. But what I've found is if you do the prompts in this order, so you give it the website first, you get some initial information from this table, and then you back it up with specific questions, the data tends to be a lot more accurate. So that is how you monitor open interest, put it into Excel, and there's a lot you can do from that. But what I would do is use open interest as a way to find new coins. It's called order flow trading. You can kind of see where investor attention is going towards sometimes before prices even move. It's a very good thing to add to your trading toolkit to level up just from the traders that might just use solely TA. Now you can use AI to help you spot pumps before they happen. Now I'm going to show you how to analyze the long short ratio of a coin using the data from Binance in order to stack this data point on top of the change in open interest. Because what the long and short ratio is going to tell us is what percentage of traders are actually long a certain token and short a certain token. That's going to help us make better decisions as to whether the market could potentially move in the upwards direction or a downwards direction for a particular altcoin over a given time period. So what we want to do is we want to take the same link again. Once again, the prompts details are in the description, and we want to enter in the link and say, list the coins with the highest and lowest long-short ratio from the above website. So what Bard's going to do is it's going to take the data from here, which we can't get unless we click individually on each token, and it's actually going to give us it in a table format, which is really, really valuable. So it's going to tell us, these are the coins with the highest long-short ratio. So you've got Bitcoin, ETH, BNB, Sol. What does this mean? It means 1.97 people are long Bitcoin compared to short. So that means there are a lot more longs than there are shorts. But for XRP, Litecoin, DOT, and AVAX, there are actually more people short than there are long. So for every person that shorts, there are 0.58 long. So 58% of people are only long compared to short. So clearly these coins have a lot more short pressure. Now this can tell us a couple of things, but let's see what Bard thinks it means before I give you my opinion. So let's say, what does the long short ratio tell us? Let's see what it says, and then I'll tell you how I would use it. But I'm very interested because this is just, it's basically a personal assistant. You can ask it a question like this and get it to give you an answer. As a language model, I'm not able to tell you this. Okay, the long-short ratio tell us when trading in this instance. So the follow-up prompt worked, and that is going to be the story of your life if you start using Bard and ChatGPT in your trading journey. It makes a lot of mistakes, and you often need to just reword things. Like I asked it, what does the long-short ratio tell us? And then I reworded it, what does the long-short ratio tell us when trading in this instance? And it made it more specific to help it understand. That happens, but I wanted to leave that blooper in, I guess, in order to show you how this actually works and not be fake. I had times in this video where I've tried things and it hasn't worked, and I've had to try again until I eventually work it out. That just happens. But here we go. It says the long-short ratio is a sentiment indicator that can be used to gauge overall sentiment. A high long-short ratio indicates that there are more traders long than short, which suggests that the market for an altcoin is bullish. A long/short ratio indicates there are more traders who are short than long, which suggests that the market is bearish. In the context of trading, this can be used to help traders make better decisions about their positions. For example, if the long-short ratio is high, it may indicate that the market is overbought and a correction is likely. Conversely, if it's low, it may indicate the market is oversold and that a rally is likely. Now, what do I think? Well, this is a specific case that does make sense. Sometimes when the long/short ratio is super high, that is an indicator that leverage is starting to build up. So usually when the long-short ratio gets, above the 2.0 ratio, that can definitely indicate at some point you're going to see some sort of squeeze. That squeezes longs out because it's becoming an overcrowded trade, and vice versa. When this ratio gets, below 0.4, 0.5, it starts to often get into oversold territory where you see short squeezes to the upside. So that is one scenario, but I wouldn't always fight the trend. Sometimes things with, super high ratios in either direction end up continuing to outperform the market because that is where the sentiment lies. And in crypto, it's very hard to counter trade sentiment to the exact day because we know sentiment at some point is going to change. We can't always catch it at the right time to be able to make a profitable trade. So this information, instead of, having a concrete rule, like if it's above 2.0, I'm going to short every time. If it's below 0.4, I'm going to long every time. It doesn't necessarily work out that way. You just have to use this information to get a gauge. It's another piece of information in your tool belt. After you look at the open interest change and work out, okay, there's interest in this altcoin, then you go from that altcoin and you chart it. Okay, it looks good in terms of its long setup, it's breaking a key horizontal level, and then you put that in confluence with the long short ratio and you realize that it still has room to breathe in terms of long shorts and it's about to break out, then that could be, your third piece of information. So all this is information that can help you find altcoins to trade. I'm kind of teaching you how to fish here instead of just giving you a fish and telling you an altcoin to long. I'm giving you the tools to be able to do this yourself. And I think, as an educator, that's super valuable. So the other question you can ask is follow-up questions based on what it's just said here. But I do want to ask it a specific prompt relating to traders. I want to say, how do traders use the long/short ratio when trading? And it's given us 3 major ways that traders use it: to identify potential reversals. This is the one that I just spoke about. To identify trends. This is also super important. To gauge market sentiment. And it also gives you a few risk management tips, which are pretty much spot on, to be honest. You should always use multiple time frames. So we discussed before with open interest, you want to use hour, 24 hourly, and you also want to use stop losses and other factors as well. So that is how you use open interest and long short ratio on Bard in order to get tables that you can, export that data to sheets, and that opens up a world of possibilities. But what's another way that you can use AI in order to find potential altcoins that could pump? Well, I think KyberAI is another tool to add to your arsenal. If you haven't used it, there is a link in the description in order to sign up for beta access. You want to be one of the first ones to use this, because once it launches to the public, everyone's going to have access right now. You can be one of the very first people to try this product, and it's very, very cool. I'm going to show you how it works really quick in the context of this video specifically. So for finding bullish altcoins with bullish trends, there's actually a very simple section on its rankings that uses machine learning data, an algorithm, in order to work out price trends. And that is this bullish section here. So if you click bullish, it's going to show you, according to their proprietary index, which is the Kyber score, which coins are trending in the most upwards direction on the Kyber score. So we can see 𝗕𝗿𝗂𝗏 off the back of the EDX markets listing is also performing well. We have some coins I haven't even heard about. So this is actually good, because if an altcoin like 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏 is ranked #1 on their index, and we can see over the past few days it's flipped from bearish to neutral all the way to bullish, then this is an indicator to me that something might be building here. So you can actually use this data in order to find an altcoin. And what I would do is I would incorporate KyberAI into my daily routine. So I'd use Bard every day, I'd use ChatGPT every day, but I would also use this every day. I use 𝗕𝗏𝗏 every day, because crypto is all about routine, right? So if you wake up in the morning, you have all your bookmarked sites, you go through the sites in order, you run through it. If you're an airdrop farmer, you do your airdrop farming, and you follow the same routine every day. Or if you do it after work at night, that is also something you can do. It doesn't matter when you do it, as long as you're consistent. And this can just be another tool in your tool belt to add to your indicators here. Conversely, this won't just help us find bullish coins, it can help us find bearish coins. So this bullish list is super cool for finding altcoins during an uptrend that can outperform versus the market. Of course, once you have this data, then your next step is obviously going to be looking at their BTC pairs to find relative strength, looking at their USD pairs to find certain setups for trades, and of course, you can also look at open interest change, etc. on Bard like I just showed you. But in bearish market conditions, you can click on the bearish tab here and get the coins that are the most bearish. Now, what I would do is I would be very selective with which coins I actually decide to act on this data. For example, like MCADE is the most bearish coin, but its volume super low. It's 481,000. So I would prefer to short something with more liquidity that's a bit higher up in the market cap rankings and subsequently has higher volume. So I'd prefer to go for something, maybe with a slightly higher bearish score, but something I know more about. Like HEX, for example, has much more liquidity. Maybe this is an indication that is showing some weakness, and then you can look for its relative strength pairs with other coins. But go through this list and look at what coins have flipped bearish. The really cool thing about KyberAI, and I'm going to show you with an example like Flex, which is, the exchange token, is that it's actually going to show you every single 4 hours how sentiment changes. So every 4 hours, it recalibrates a score. And why this is really cool is because you're going to see trends. So for a coin like Flex, it was super bullish, but now it's ticking down into a bearish period. Can you use this data in confluence with a breakdown on the charts? If you can, that could be a good trading signal for you as well. So there's lots to do on KyberAI. I'm incorporating this into my daily routine, and it's been very, very cool to catch altcoin pumps and dumps. So if you do want to use this, there is a link in the description to use KyberAI. It's a very cool product, and it's going to enable you to get beta access if you sign up with our referral link, which I think, is quite a good opportunity for you guys to get onto this early before it launches to the public. There's also many more features we're going to get to in the future, but I wanted to explain the ones that made sense in the context of this video. If you did enjoy this video, let me know in the comments, and also let me know what else you want to let me help you with on Bard and ChatGPT. I've been playing around so much with this stuff. I'm learning so much. Is there anything that you want to learn to do? Do you want to learn how to build trading bots? Do you want to learn how to find DeFi yield? Do you want to learn how to find altcoin gems? Let me know what you want to learn from AI in the comments below, and I'm going to get to the comments and use some of your suggestions for my next video. But I hope this video was helpful in terms of the 3 things I taught you. 1, how to gauge changes in open interest. 2, how to gauge and use changes in long/short ratio to spot trends and reversals. And 3, how to use KyberAI to find changes in the bullishness and the bearishness of a coin using AI. So if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, and I will see you in the next video. I'm your host, Miles, and I hope you have a lovely day. Peace out.